Welcome to the Wealth Experts Podcast. Wealth Experts is a global network of leading professionals in wealth management and banking, legal, real estate, insurance, and entrepreneurship. The group's members are present in various cities and focused on families and private businesses from Latin America. In each episode, you will get to know one of these experts, not only who they are, but also what we can learn from them, which mistakes to avoid, and what real solutions exist for your daily challenges around the creation and protection of your wealth. And here's your host, Andrés Lakatos, independent wealth advisor and founder of Wealth Experts.
All right, so welcome everybody to our second podcast. Today I have the big pleasure to have Thomas Bidie here, a friend and colleague, also an independent wealth manager who has been around more than 25 years in this industry. So he's one of the pioneers of our industry. So I'm very happy to have you here. Thomas, please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here, Andres. Yes, I founded TNT International Wealth Management in October 1999. So actually next month it's going to be 26 years. We're serving clients mainly in Europe and Latin America. We try to do that in a holistic way, which means we do on one side manage their assets, which are mainly in banks, but also outside of banking systems at times, and we also help them structure their wealth. Meaning, we help them do asset protection, we help them do succession planning, we help them. A lot of our clients are entrepreneurs, so we help them connect their savings and structure with their operational business in a most efficient way. Obviously, also always on a legal basis. But there's lots of ways you can do it to optimize those whole setups. But we also outsource a lot of our services. So we have an own core team, which is really focused on client attention and asset management. And the other services we interconnect with external service providers.
Super, great. So great to have you here, Thomas.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk about the independent asset management business and industry in Switzerland, which has been an industry founded around 40, 50 years ago, maybe. Yeah. So my name is Andrés Lakatos. I'm partner and CEO at Esfera Wealth. Esfera Wealth is a wealth management boutique based in Zurich, which was established 15 years ago. I joined Esfera Wealth 1 year ago. Actually, we rebranded the name of the company and the entire company. The name that we used to have was Aquila Chomi Finance before. And since August, we are Esfera Wealth. And basically, we do three things, right? We help to build the wealth of our clients by investing according to their strategy. We have different mandates that go according to the needs of each client. Then the second pillar is that we do is protection. So we help our clients to protect their wealth basically by referring them to professionals that will structure their entire wealth according to their country, their needs, and where their assets are. And here we go really in depth. We have discussions with our clients about what's going to happen when you're not around. What is the plan? Have you really planned this in detail? Do you have a structure which is for your country optimized? And how can we make sure that your legacy will be preserved for the next 20, 30, 50 years, right? Across the family, the family that is across your family and the new generations of your family. And the third pillar, what we do is connect. And that is what we're doing here in this podcast today. Basically, we like to connect us and professionals of our industries with other with our network of professionals, with our clients, and with our prospects. And we also have and we participate in a next gen academy to focus on the new generation, to focus on the kids of our clients and our prospects, to make sure that they are educated, that they know what to do with the wealth, that they get the support that they need to grow their businesses, and to protect their family business and to grow it further. And so these are basically the three things that we do. So I'm very happy to have you here, Thomas. I think we will have a podcast for around a little bit more than 30 minutes. So please stick around because we have very, very interesting questions about our industry in Switzerland. So the format will be that we have some questions here in the middle of the table. We will be reading the questions and we will both answer them. So you can begin, Thomas, whenever you want.
Here we are. So, Andreas, how would you describe the Swiss independent asset management market today? Is it a sector of growth, consolidation, or rather transformation?
So the Swiss independent asset management market, as I see it, is a market that is growing strongly. So banks are betting on us. They are opening departments specialized on serving us, because there are always more and more bankers that leave banks and join us, because I would say that really every banker would like to be an independent asset manager, as we are among us. I think so. Why? Because we are really independent. We really give independent advice. We are not obliged to sell, let's say, only one bank's products and services. We have an open platform that we can use to provide to our clients the best solutions from the best providers or from the leading companies in the market. So that is really an open architecture. And we are on the side of the clients. And then I think our clients feel it, that we are on their side, right? And we are not on the side of another institution. So I think there is a big demand for our sector. The banks confirm it as well. And we are also in transformation because 2 or 3 years ago, we got the license of FINMA. FINMA is the Swiss banking regulator that regulates the banks and now regulates also the independent asset managers, as we are. We are around 1,500 independent asset managers in Switzerland. We were 3,000 before this regulation came. Before we had a self-regulation organization, which was regulating us. But now we have, let's say, even a higher standard of regulation, and this made the market, the number of asset managers shrink. But if I understand it correctly, the assets under management in total kept more or less the same. So these assets didn't flow back to the banks or went to anywhere else. They were kept here in Switzerland, but they just moved from one asset manager, maybe a one-man show, to a larger independent asset manager. So I would say a growing market in transformation. How do you see it?
Well, yeah, I think the market is growing. I think it didn't only stay the same. I think it's even growing, but the participants are shrinking, and that trend seems to continue. And that's got mainly regulatory reasons, right? As you said before, because FINMA, it's just gone on a different level. We're now regulated by the same institution that regulates the banks, directly by FINMA. And that, of course, requires more rules. You have to have certain division, no conflict of interest, or minimize it, and have not the same person can take care of clients' investments as has to do risk and compliance and so on. So already that shows you that, doing it alone doesn't really go anymore. And so a lot of people, either retired or they fusioned. I mean, they got together with others. And what you said before, I think I can really see a big change in 2007, 2008 in the financial crisis, where people really, really started to seek for more independent advice of their investments, rather than, let's say, selling investment products. Really, I mean, we do each client has his own or her own investment strategy, investment portfolio, also legal setup, of course, but investment portfolio, and that clearly, I think, is a trend which will continue. And even if it's getting tougher in the market as such, from the environment point of view, I think if you're a boutique firm which is very well set up and managed and really acts in the interest of the client, you'll also be successful in the future.
Absolutely. All right. So let's go to a second question. Thomas, what would you say are the strongest trends in the independent asset management market right now?
So I think generally the clients, the sophistication of the clients is increasing just because of education issues, but also, of course, let's say maybe younger investors would like to have a bit more information. Like they want to have it digital on their smartphones. They want to see their assets, their bank accounts 24/7. They also want to invest in maybe more digital assets or things that are coming up, or tech and so on. So from that point of view, I think they're a bit more active. They want to see transparency as to their investments, their performance, fees, and so on. So digital issue, transparency issue, then also think market trends, especially in Europe, but all over the world. You can see ESG becoming more and more important. They just want to be in touch. They want to feel it. They want to see it. They even if they don't see you all the time, they want to see it somewhere on their smartphone, possibly. Yeah. So I think those are trends which will also continue, I guess.
Yeah, so I can agree with you. Everything that you said, I see the same. And maybe to say what hasn't changed or what is still trending is that this stays a very personal business. So the clients want to see you, even though what COVID changed is that now the clients are more open to have maybe online discussions on the portfolios, on strategies, and on general topics, but they still want to see you. So this hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So our industry is very, very personal based. It's a people's business, and this hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it's trust, right?
It's trust.
And the people, they want to look you in the eye, they
Yeah.
want to feel you, they want to see you,
Yeah.
they want to talk about their investments, and they want to perceive the whole situation and see you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Transparency is also very important. They want to feel that they have all the information required that they need. So yeah.
Good. Next one. Looking back, Andreas, what have been the most difficult or challenging situations in your career as an advisor?
So I would say the most challenging year for me was in my career was definitely 2016 when I left the bank, because I left a big, well-known, reputable bank to move to a multifamily office, which is also an independent wealth management company, but a large one. And when I did that change, I was not sure if clients would come with me. Even though I was 100% sure that the offering was much better for them. However, it's a new constellation that not all clients are used to and know the independent asset manager role, right? Because clients are used to deal with the bank, with the banker. They and nowadays this has changed a lot, but there are still a lot of clients that are not used to deal with an external asset manager as we are, who has a limited power of information on their bank account and who can open their bank account, who can manage their assets. This is something that they are not really used to. Some clients are still not used to do that. And so this was the biggest change, right? This big change was for me the most stressful, the most challenging one. Yeah, I would say that one. What about you?
Well, yeah, before you sell the name and image of a bank, and then suddenly you have to sell yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree on that. And maybe, to add, in the markets, I mean, we said before, we've been around for 26 years, so we've seen the dot-com bubble 2000, 2001. We've seen the financial crisis 2007, 2008. We've seen COVID 2020, and then smaller ups and downs like now last April with import duties and so on, which shake the markets. But I mean, especially the longer ones, the first three I mentioned, it takes a lot of discipline. So investing is a lot about discipline, right? It's about understanding your client, fixing a long-term strategy, and having the client stick to it. And then sometimes the markets go, well, I want more in risky assets. You have to slow them down a little bit. And in a crisis, sometimes they just want to sell. And then obviously they sell at the wrong moment in most cases. And so analyzing what's the portfolio like, how do we see it, and then taking your client by the hand and guiding him through the difficult time, because it's very easy to go and see a client when the sun's shining and you've got a great performance. But when it's difficult, you've got to be there. You've got to help them. They might be worried. They might be very concerned. They might be even in panic. They might just want to sell it all at the wrong time, and that would be a shame. So that's when you really can show your value and help them. And of course, always in our jobs, it's also a lot about psychology and understanding the client. But of course, you have to have the discipline of the financial markets, and you have to. I think that's our job, to guide them through it, even if you don't agree with what they say at the moment, if they're in panic. But you have to help them go through that, and I think that's been one of the most difficult or most challenging moments, which at the same time create a lot of opportunities. Assets are down, you stick to your plan, but you can even find a lot of opportunities then that you can buy at very good prices, which afterwards have very, very rewarding returns. So a crisis is always an opportunity. And I think guiding your clients through that is very important. Very challenging, but very important.
All right.
My turn?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What is the most common misunderstanding clients have when they first come to you?
So misunderstandings. So one misunderstanding is that, especially for new clients, that I need to explain them our role, what we do, and how we work. Because as said before, a lot of them, they are used to work with a banker, with the bank. They are not used to have somebody external that takes care of their investments and their banks. So a lot of them think that we are a bank, or that their accounts are going to be at Esfera Wealth, which is not the case, right? So that's one point that I usually have to clear. And also another point I would say is, no, that's basically it. So I think that's the biggest misunderstanding that we face when we meet our clients, or especially new clients.
So the whole setup, right?
The whole setup.
That the client understands, hey, you're not sending the money to us. You're sending it to a bank account which is in your name, not in ours, in yours. And what we get is a limited power of attorney so that we can help you manage those assets. We're not allowed to take money out. But we can help you manage those assets, right? And that's important for them to explain.
That's the second biggest misunderstanding that clients have. They think that with this limited power of attorney that we can take money out of their account. That's one of the biggest fears that a lot of new clients have. And it's important to say now that a limited power of attorney doesn't give us the power to take money out of the account. All right, that's why it's called limited. So for every time that the client wants to transfer money out, the client needs to sign it, to confirm it via phone call. There are a lot of control measures that the bank and that we take, because nobody wants to have an unauthorized transfer going out of the account. I mean, I think that's the worst thing that can happen to us, apart from losing money, right? These are the two worst things that can happen to us: losing money and having unauthorized transfer. So we really try to do everything possible. We have never had this case, any unauthorized transfers going out, never. So yes, these are the two main points. Right, let's go to the next question. How does working independently compare with working in a large financial institution?
Well, you said before that most bankers want to be independent asset managers. I don't know. If that's quite true, but I'm very happy to be one. And I think both have pros and cons, right? I mean, you're in a big institution. You have a certain setup in that institution. You have scale. You have you know yeah you have weight in the market. When you're small, you're more flexible. You can be aligned with your clients. You can and should, in my opinion, have the luxury of taking time for your clients. We don't have 400 or 500 or 600 clients like you do in a bank. You have to take care of. We have a tenth of that, and so we really take time for our clients to understand them, to invest exactly the way they want to have it. And we have short decision lines. We don't have bureaucracy. I mean, if somebody in my team has a great idea, they come up. Why don't we do it differently? Of course, great. Let's do that. If it makes sense. In a bank, maybe for the whole decision taking is a little bit different. You have to get a signature for everything. You're kind of in a limited space. You have to act according to the bank, and you have a lot of pressure to generate performance, not only for your client, but probably sometimes even in the first line for yourself, right, for the bank, because that's what you're measured at the end of the year. We don't have that kind of pressure. Obviously, we'll have to survive somehow, but we survive by doing a good job for our clients. So we have them long term, and we stay with them, and they trust, and they invest with us, and they might bring new clients along, because I think we both grow through word-to-word recommendation, right? So, and of course, we do combine big institutions, but without working with them. So we use them as custodians if they're banks. We use insurance solutions, but we're not in insurance, but we integrate it in the management for our clients, or trusts, or foundations, and so on. But, so I think we have a great opportunity of understanding the market, seeing those elements, and then putting them together in such a way that it best serves the client.
Yeah, so I would say, aligning with what you say, I think exactly the same, and I would maybe say it in a different way. I would say that working independently, what changes is that your boss changes. So when you work with at a financial institution, your boss is a banker. When you're independent, your boss is a client.
Absolutely.
Right? So that is what changes. So you really, your boss is the client, right? So
and with that, your focus, right?
And with that, your focus, because who pays you? When you are a banker, the bank pays you. When you are independent, the client pays you. So which interests are you going to represent? The interests of your client. At the bank pays you, you're going to represent the interests of the bank. So I think that's a big change. Yeah. And with that all along, what comes is that, basically you can manage your time better. You can be much more creative, like we're doing right now, right? Usually, if I would work at a big financial institution, I would need to get approval from five different levels, and most probably they wouldn't give me approval. So you have more creativity, you have more space to create value. You can better manage your time, and you can really focus 100% of your on your clients.
Yeah, and fully agree. And I think what you just mentioned now, I think that is also coming back to a previous question with the setup, with the fees. It's important for a client to understand that he doesn't have another entity between the client and the bank, being you or us, right? Because being FINMA licensed, we actually replace a big part of the bank. We go straight into those special departments you said, which are created for independent asset managers or family offices, which means the client is paying for the custody in the bank, but the whole administration, management, and so on, he pays us. So he doesn't pay the bank for the management plus us for our management. So at the end of the day, bottom line, we have a very slim setup. We don't have to pay for hundreds of buildings and cars and so we're very efficient. We work together with the banks hand in hand. They charge their part, which is custody. We charge our part, which is administration, advisory, management. So I think that's also an important part for the people to understand.
And very important for the client is that the client is still client of the bank, right? So that doesn't change. We are just in between. So we are between the client and between the bank. With our limited power of attorney, we represent the client, but the client is still client of the bank.
Yeah.
So that is very important for the client to know.
But not double fees.
Exactly.
And it can be various banks, right? I mean, we have clients with various banks, also in various jurisdictions. I mean, if you're if you're an employee of a bank, you can't offer services from another bank. We can offer our clients various banks in Switzerland, but also in other countries, because some clients really want to have their investments in different jurisdictions. You also have different kind of investments you can do in different jurisdictions. And at the end of the day, they have one contact person, which is us. And also, we don't change every year like very often they do in banks. They're with us. They stay with us as long as they want, not when I change and find a different job or I'm promoted within because we're here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big change, right? When dealing with an independent wealth manager, you can be sure basically that a client with us is going to be our client for the next couple of decades, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When you're with a bank, it's most probable that your banker will change every, couple of years. And that means that you as a client, you will have to move to another bank or you will get another banker and you have to start the relationship from scratch. And if you're unlucky, then you will have a banker that maybe you don't like. And so that's a big plus that we have as independent asset managers.
And the banker should understand you and you should have some kind of relation. A business relationship at least, and if that changes all the time, we have to start from scratch.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. In such a competitive market, what do you believe truly sets you apart and adds value for your clients, Andres?
Okay, so compared to other wealth managers, I think that we have a clear strategic focus on Latin America. That has been our focus since the company was founded 15 years ago. That's why we also changed our name to a Spanish word, which is Esfera, which for us means that every client is a sphere, because every sphere can be of different sizes, different shapes. Some come alone, some come in groups with different colors. So that for us represents every client, right? Every client is completely different. So our focus on on Latin America, our focus on being boutique. We want to stay boutique because I have, I have seen how other larger family offices work, and I have been there, and I prefer to be a boutique. Why? Because being a boutique really gives me the possibility to really focus my service and individualize my service to what my clients want. Really highly individualized service. And I think this has a lot of future because clients really want to have a service that is 100% cut underneath. And I can do this now with this boutique company. Before, at a larger wealth management company, it was a little bit more difficult, right? Because you have much more people inside who decide. You have more bureaucracy. You have also some politics, and that makes everything a little bit more difficult. And then you have to or you have to make sure that the shareholder of the big family office supports the interests of your clients, right? Because if I require something, it's not because Andres, wants this. It's because my client told me I need this. So I present this to the family office, and if the shareholder doesn't see the same need that I see, then it's not going to be done, and my client is not going to be happy. And now we can take the decisions, and we can really implement. So far, we can really go very, very, very deep into the client's needs.
Yeah.
How do you see it?
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah. Well, yeah, we have very similar things there. I think I always refused to have 4 or 5 fixed strategies and telling my client to pick one. That is selling. No. I listen to the client, and I take my time and ask questions. Well, I go go through questions with the clients because I really want to understand, what exactly are their needs. And sometimes it sounds a bit abstract, but okay. Sometimes I have clients who just say, listen, this money, I'm not working anymore. This is what I'm living from, so I need to have income. Others say, listen, this is a long-term thing. I don't need to take any money out. I want to have it all invested. So that's a different investment profile.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see, there's people that literally don't sleep at night if their portfolio goes down a little bit. Others don't really care as long as they have a long-term performance. Others say, okay, I have a kid studying somewhere at a university, which costs so much a year, and I want to do trips. So I need the portfolio to produce at least this, and the rest can be invested in capital gains. So, every situation is really different from the investment point of view, from the structure point of view, obviously as well, but investment point of view. And like you, we're very, very focused on, let's say, Spanish-speaking clients. A lot from Latin America. I was married to a Latin American for over 20 years. I have been elected honorary consul of a Latin American country last year. So, we have a lot of ties. We're there very often. We really understand them. And in general, I think it's great to match the needs of the clients, which are individual, together with the hard financial markets, the demanding compliance, and bring that all together in such a way that it's beneficial and rewarding for the client. I think is a great challenge. I think we are proud to have had on our focus, and I think if we were around for 26 years, we kind of done everything wrong with lots of clients for 25 years.
You did
years
something right. You did something. You're doing something right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I would say so. Also, from our side, our founders and myself, we have all lived in somewhere in Latin America for at least 10 years. So we really, really understand the people, and like you were saying, we speak their language, not only because it's Spanish, but we speak their culture. And we love the Latin American culture.
Yeah.
We're really big fans of Latin America, and so that's why we serve this market as well. Yeah. Yeah. Great. So next question: how do you see the future of the industry of our external asset management industry in Switzerland? Do you expect more regulation, more consolidation, or more space for small independent players?
I think yes to all of them, and I think we've discussed it already really in the previous points. I think there will be more regulation. I think there will be more consolidation. I do expect the market to grow. So that means that if you're well positioned, focused on not try to just do everything, but really be focused on your clients, on the services for your clients, know what you can do, know what other experts can do so that you can get them together. So being a boutique which is focused on your clients and done with dedication, I think you'll have a good future.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think there is space for everything, and I think the regulator will decide how many independent asset managers there will be in Switzerland, because with this new regulation, FINMA regulation, they cut the number of independent asset managers to half. And now, it depends on FINMA. If they consider that we should be even less, then they might, tighten the regulation even more. So I think that's a big, big, big decision player, the FINMA. And but otherwise, I think this is a growing market. So we are all buyers. We all want to buy. There's almost nobody that wants to sell their business, right? So this is absolutely a buyer market, and what I also see is that there is still a lot of interest from bankers to join this side. So I think that there will be there will always be new independent asset managers, and you know. But most probably there will be consolidation, because at the end I see our market like the banks maybe 50 years ago, where there were much more banks, and with time they began to consolidate, right? I think this will happen to our industry as well. However, I mean, I was in this process of joining an existing independent asset management company, and we took 4 years, from the first day that we began talking until I really joined, and I was 100% fully integrated into the company. So I think, because this is very personal, this is not a big company like the banks, where maybe a transaction can be made a little bit quicker. We are smaller companies, and we are very, very, very personal driven by the founder, by the CEO. So it's much tougher to get an understanding, because you have to be sure that both companies manage the same markets. Usually they will want to manage the same markets. Usually they will want to have the same beliefs and values, and usually they want to know each other. They want to be like well known for years. So there are a lot of expectations, and there are also big egos, big egos, right? And so to bring this together is very, very difficult. So the only one that is able to force us to even come even quicker together is the regulator, right?
And at the same time, Andres, we're both in cross-border banking, right? So we have a lot of expertise in offering our services abroad. First of all, for a bank, that's a great asset, and of course for our clients, it's an even bigger asset, because we know how to understand them, and we also know how to translate that and apply it afterwards in Swiss banks or others. So I think that, and if they know that FINMA is a trusted regulator, they will also trust automatically. That increases their trust in us, that they know, we can't do any mischief here. I mean, it is so well regulated now, and we're audited every year, and we have internal audits, we have external audits from FINMA and so on. So I think clients can be really, really secure that their money's in good hands.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are offshore. We are in the offshore business. That means that our clients are not in Switzerland. They are foreigners, right? And from all these 1,500 independent asset managers, I think we are the minority, right? The big chunk of asset managers in Switzerland, they have usually local clients. A lot have also European clients, but not a lot have clients from Latin America. We belong to the minority. So I think also a big trend is that we can be also very interesting for banks, because banks are trying to get into the independent asset management business, and they also want to buy, or they want to join as equity holders our industry. And that is something that I'm seeing always more and more. And that's why I think it's very important for an independent asset manager to be focused, to have one core market, because that way you can really be differentiable among the rest.
Yeah, we have Swiss and European clients, but our focus is like yours.
Okay.
Fully agree.
Right. So, what is the biggest potential you see in the external asset manager industry in Switzerland?
Well, I think, as we said before, concentrate on our strengths, focus on our strengths. I think that we have to do a lot with digitalization. I can see talking to friends, colleagues in our industry that I mean, in lots of cases, it isn't that far advanced, and for sure not as far as advanced as in other industries. We have decided this year. Well, I mean, last October we were 25, right? So we said, okay, what we're going to do? A new website, a new setup, no brochures and so on. But we also digitalize a lot our internal processes, and also in the offerings we want to offer more investments which are future driven, meaning inside banks as custodians, but also having real world assets. We're very much into real world assets like metals, gold, silver, real estate, or others, which you can hold outside of the actual banking industry, and that is something I think which is still pretty new, but we're working on it, and it has the whole offering has a lot of future. Yeah.
Okay. What I see as a big potential, which I think is just right across the corner, is a digital onboarding of new clients.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is really, for me, this is the future. So basically, when a new client wants to open an account, typically, clients need to sign the original documents, send them via DHL to us.
Yeah.
It's very inefficient. They lose time. They have to pay money for the DHL. Then usually some documents are not signed correctly, and then they need to sign them again, send a second DHL. By the time you lose at least 1 month. With the digital onboarding, clients can open an account or sign at least all the documents and be also identified digitally. So nobody needs to travel. They don't need to send the original documents. I mean, this is just, for me, this is clearly the future.
Yeah.
And this is just across the corner. So we can do this as a company already. We can offer a digital onboarding, but the banks are not so far. We have so far, we worked with different banks together in Switzerland, and from all these banks that we work together, only 2 banks are offering digital onboarding. The rest are still offering, the traditional way. They still need to have the originals, even though it's already legal. I mean, it's legal in Switzerland. You can open an account digitally, right? Yeah. So for me, this is the biggest trend, which is just, I think, in 2-3 years, I hope most of the banks will offer it.
Yeah, we've done it, and I think it's very, very efficient. Some still ask for originals afterwards, but at least we did the whole onboarding digitally. And I agree with you. I think that's going to, like a lot of other processes as well, but that is definitely an important one, which will streamline the whole thing. Yeah. Last one. All right. Last but not least, Andres, finally, what advice would you give to a young professional considering a career as an independent advisor?
Wow. Well, I think, first of all, to be an independent wealth manager, you began very, very young. I mean, I really admire that, because I wanted to do it the same way. But, my family was always saying, hey, because my dream was to go to Latin America, and stay there and live there. And so I did it for a few years, right? But then, you know how things are. I came back. But I wanted to do it, before even really having the right connections, the right clients, right? And so I waited. And so I think it's very, very important that you build, if you're young and you want to enter into this industry, you really need to build the relationship with your clients. And usually the best way is just to go to a bank, because if you go to a bank in Switzerland, usually the bank gives you a book of clients, right? In the US, it's completely different. I mean, in the US, they tell you, listen, you have our brand, here is your chair, but now go and get your clients yourself, right? I mean, I admire them, really, how they do that, right? Because they really need to go out there and look for clients themselves. It's very, very hard, very, very hard. Okay. Usually they have a good brand behind them, their backs, and that helps them a lot, of course. But still, from to begin from scratch is very, very difficult. In Switzerland, we have a little bit more comfortable or luxury situation that usually the bank gives you a book of clients. But and there, when you as a young banker get that opportunity, it's very important that you really try to work for the client. I know, you're paid by the bank, so of course you need to represent the interests of the banks as well. But I would suggest to try to get the best for both, right? The best solution for the clients and for the banks, so that your clients, they see that you really want to that you're looking for a good solution for them, that you really care about them. And when they realize that, then I think you have a good starting point to eventually become independent, and offer them other services that maybe the bank where you are now cannot offer, right? That would be my tip. Yeah. What about you? What would you suggest to a young professional?
Well, yes, and I think doing it my way is but I think I've done a lot of things in life the hard way, but okay, it's also rewarding at the end. But I think, okay, then once you're in that bank as this young guy, which you described before, I think where do you make a difference? Because the clients will, obviously at the end, it's going to be crucial, like you said, one of your most difficult points. Once you eventually decide to leave the bank and have your own firm or join a small firm or so, obviously you depend on the clients trusting you. You won't be able to take all of them with you, probably, but a lot of them. And what will make that difference? The client will know he has to appreciate you, right? He has to appreciate you because he trusts in your advice. He trusts that you take him serious and really put his interest in front. That also requires a lot of emotional intelligence, competence, whatever you want to call it. So, in these days, universities and so on, they mainly focus on maths, finance, whatever, hard facts. But I think it's very, very important also, and also for the future. And if we're talking about roboting and so on, we can make the big difference with the emotional factors, with the soft factors, not only the hard factors, soft factors. So I would encourage everybody to work more also on those soft factors, and then be consistent. Have your focus clear. Your focus is your client. Your client, not how do I make money with my client. No, how does my client make money? How will he be happy?
Mhm.
Because if he is, you will be happy as well,
Mhm.
right? But he's always in the foreground, and have consistency with that, and not try to get a quick, okay, I'm becoming independent, I get rich. No. It's a constant, continuous work, focus on your client, help your client understand the markets, be informed, see what's going on. At the end of the day, your client has to be in the foreground, has to be successful.
Yeah. So this is a long term. This is the long
Yeah.
run, right?
Yeah.
So this is really a long term relationship that you need to build.
Yeah.
And I think my advice would be go the extra mile, because if you go the extra mile, the clients will see it, because not everybody goes the extra mile. If you do that for their clients, they will notice that for sure, 100%. They will notice that you go the extra mile, and if you go the extra mile for them, they will be with you.
Bowl's empty.
Any other questions, just spontaneously?
Yeah. No, I think.
No?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
for having
Thomas.
me here, and thank you very much for this.
It was a joy to have you here. You're
Likewise.
really one of the, you started with 28, 29. That's amazing what you did. And you are still here. Not everybody did it, right?
And I'm 54. I'm not 60 or 70.
Not even 60s. So you're still here. You started young. You have been very successful, and I can learn a lot from you, and I think a lot from us can learn a lot from you. So I hope that we continue with these exchanges. I know that you have a lot of very, very interesting projects. Maybe, we can do another podcast next year, and then maybe you can update us on what you're doing in your company.
Anytime, pleasure.
You have mentioned a lot of very, very, very exciting ideas. So, I would love to have you back again maybe next year. And until then, I wish you all the best. And see you soon in probably in Wealth Experts, right?
Yeah, of course, Andres. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Take care.
You